Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a game. The rhythm of it is electric, full of flow and connection. For a moment, everything clicks. You're not thinking, but you're just being. Then something breaks the rhythm. Control sneaks in, fear. You start counting steps, anticipating outcomes, and the connection is gone. You lose the magic. That's what it's like when the mind tries to force its way into territory of the spirit. The spirit isn't something that you can command. It doesn't respond to control or mastery or language. It lives in those moments of flow, beyond the reach of mind and ego. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, the space I've built for exploring what it means to be uniquely human. When I first started, I focused on helping those with PTSD or complex PTSD, but life has shown me something larger. Everyone suffers. Some of us see it daily, while others notice it only when life slows down enough to reveal the cracks, or possibly at the end. Well, that's okay. This space is for anyone who's ready to break out of their old patterns and tired of wearing those hand-me-down scripts that don't fit under operating from their true selves. It's for those committed to finding their essence, their spirit, that part of them that's untouchable by anything artificial, unshaken by dominance, and undefeated by fear. My path here started when I was 17. I made choices back then, decisions around family, athletics, film, scholarship, and my future profession. They shaped my life and gave me achievements that I'm grateful for. But at some point I realized these were just on the surface. They were milestones, yes, but they weren't my purpose, or they weren't my identity. What they did was lay a foundation for a much larger body of work, for what I've come to see as the next steps, potentially in human evolution. And if you've noticed history repeating itself, you're not wrong. Humans have this extraordinary way of doing the same thing over and over, just dressing it up in new costumes. It's like we're robots running the same program, telling ourselves it's innovation, when really it's old patterns with fresh paint. The future, though, is coming, whether we fight it or not. And if we learn to surrender to this idea that evolution is happening, it might be easier, even gentler, for the generations still to come. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of control in areas where control has become a trap. Compartmentalization is one of those traps. Maybe it sounds familiar. You pray and then you return to life as if that prayer ended when you said amen. Or you separate parts of yourself into neat little boxes, and the person you're with, maybe family versus who you are at work versus who you are when you're alone, these compartments, they don't communicate with each other sometimes. They divide you, they weaken you. Once upon a time, they may have served a purpose, but now they hold us back individually and collectively. Life demands authenticity and a new way of living that integrates everything we are, bringing down the walls we've built inside ourselves. And those walls, they come from feelings of suppression, emotions that we bury because we're too afraid to face them. But the thing is that what you bury doesn't disappear. It festers. These feelings morph into demons that haunt you, seeping into the cracks, hijacking who you are. Suppression breeds shame, guilt, and resentment, and most people don't even recognize it for what it is. I've seen it firsthand. I loved basketball because it wasn't just a game to me, it was a spiritual experience. There was a rhythm, a silent language amongst players that I was connected to, actual human beings, a connection that flowed beyond plans or strategies. It was instinctive and it was alive. And then there was football, brutal, violent, controlled. At one point in my life, I needed that outlet. But by the time I turned 18, I began to see its absurdity. It was manipulation for entertainment, a playground for the ego and overreach. I had the potential for success there, sure, but I walked away. I followed something unknown, something deeper. You see, the spirit lives in those moments, the flow of connection, the pull of something beyond words. It slips through the cracks of the mind's desperate need to control. Human potential isn't about dominance or performance. It's about surrendering to something greater, letting yourself be moved in ways logic can't anticipate. Society doesn't make this easy. Today, we've got inventors who dream about automating everything, believing it will free humanity. But have you noticed when people have more free time, it doesn't always lead to enlightenment. It often leads to distractions, sometimes unhealthy obsessions and conflict, fear-based living, anxiety. Why? Because authenticity hasn't been cultivated yet. Fear dominates humanity's baseline, and giving us more idle time only magnifies what's already there. That brings me back to this side of suppression. The unresolved parts of ourselves drive irrational behavior. It's why we argue about things that don't matter. The toast. Who burned the toast at a super level argument or having disagreements over these petty conflicts. But these daily dramas, they're not about what they always seem on the surface. They're often about what's buried underneath and has not been examined. We've grown so skilled at suppressing discomfort, at compartmentalizing pain, that we've even created a world of fragmentation. But here's the truth. The unexamined life festers, and the things left festering, they drain you. They hollow you out. These suppressed truths open the door to manipulation, leaving you vulnerable not only to your own inner turmoil, but also to the entities, the systems, and forces that thrive on your unconscious patterns. If the thought of walking into those dark corners, the suppressed, ugly parts of yourself that you've been avoiding feels intimidating, that's okay. It's supposed to feel that way. I mean, growth isn't neat or tidy. It's raw, it's uncomfortable. But the reward is unparalleled. It's the kind of truth that can't be purchased or learned in a textbook. It's the truth that demolishes the mind games, the control mechanisms, and fear-driven scripts that we've been handing down from generation to generation over who knows how many years. This isn't about constructing a cleaner, better life on the surface. It's about burning through the lies, surrendering your spirit, and letting your deeper truth rise above the noise. It's about discovering what remains when you finally stop running. I'm Mark Roach. This is Transcendent. Wishing you all the best.